So I'm often asked, how many hours a day do you have to work to build your digital marketing agency and manage it and scale and all that sort of stuff? So that's what we're going to get into in this video, specifically how to really leverage systems and protocols so that you can work as little as possible and maximize your return on the amount of time you're putting into your work. So let's hop into my computer and get into kind of the day-to-day and what goes on with managing a digital marketing agency that produces $25,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And like that, we're back here in my office. So what we're going to be doing in this video is basically going over some of the things on a day-to-day, week-to-week, and month-to-month level that are done when it comes to managing your clients, and also give you an estimate of how much time it's actually going to take to manage these clients when you utilize a hybrid white label model, as I like to call it, with SEO, pay-per-click ads, as well as website design and a little bit of review syndication for Google reviews. And so the reason that I'm doing this content is because of the fact that I really wish 4 or 5 years ago when I was trying to get started that this content was available for me to watch. That way I knew what to expect. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I really just had to figure this stuff out all on my own. And it took multiple years to get to even just this point. And I don't want that to happen to you because it was really stressful and not fun. So let's begin. And it would not be a video by Matt Wacek if I didn't show you the numbers that my agency is producing. So again, I'll refresh the page. We're here in my agency Stripe account. The number I pay attention most to with an agency, because I really like dependable income that comes in every single month, and that is monthly recurring revenue. And so the reason I show you these numbers is to be transparent with you, because I believe in being authentic and actually showing you what it's like to build these types of businesses. You're going to see content from people out there showing you 100K months, 200K months, $5 million over 3 years, whatever the crazy numbers are that they're showing you. What they're doing is showing you numbers from a completely unrelated revenue source. It's from courses, it's from affiliate offers, it's from something else other than the business model that they're teaching. And I want you to be aware of that, because when you come to my channel, you can expect that I'm going to actually show you what it's like to build this type of business. But with all that said, let's get into the day-to-day tasks. Alrighty, so what we're going to be breaking down here is a website and SEO based program. If you want me to do a video on like the day-to-day tasks and workflow with Google pay-per-click ads, comment below and we can do a video on that here in the coming weeks. But this is going to be focused on SEO side of things, because there is a fair amount that gets done. But when we do things super efficiently, we leverage the right systems, you'd be shocked as to how little amount of hours that need to be spent working on a month-to-month basis for each client that you have. Really, there are about 8 key tasks that you need to do on a monthly basis for your clients. And so this is at least how we structure our service program with website, SEO, and Google My Business, or Google Business Profile, I should say, management and SEO, and getting reviews for that as well. So the first month, and again, we're not factoring in time spent with getting the sale. This is after we already have the sale put in. Let's just say we factor in the hour of talking with the prospect during the strategy session and closing the sale on the call. So we'll factor in 1 hour there. But if you're just getting started, you're just creating content for the first time to kind of put out there on YouTube, your own agency's website, that sort of stuff, to get traffic coming in, you're going to have to work a crap ton. I've worked for years and years and years and years and made no money because I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. But what that allowed me to do was have all this backlog of content where people are finding videos from 3-4 years ago and they're booking a call, and we're closing them as a result of that. So put in the work and just continue doing it. Make sure, obviously, being strategic, and it will pay off. But like I said, this is going to be for after the sale, when we're already starting to do work for the client that we signed. So the first month, maybe even 2 months, depending on how much work is going into the client's website, that's when you're gonna have the bulk of the hours get put in. So we're going to be building out the website. So for us, that's with Elementor, which is a WordPress plugin, and connecting to Bright Local, setting up all of the client's information within Web20's portal when it comes to links and citations and all the GMB SEO, and getting the client an agency analytics, which is going to be for rank tracking and setting up what converts. That's our call tracking and form tracking, getting all that stuff connected. That's usually 20 to 30 man hours across the first couple months. It depends on how many services the client has with the website when we build that out, because the fact that some clients do 15, 20 different services, other clients only do 5. And it just depends on kind of what they do. And that's going to determine how much work needs to go into the actual site build. So expect that much for the first couple of months. So the next thing that you can expect to do on a monthly basis, and by the way, this is not chronological order or anything like that. These are just what needs to be done each month. But this is a big task that I refer to as a link order. And so essentially what we do for SEO is we use a hybrid white label system that I've put all together. And this is what worked really well and gets really good results for our clients. So basically we purchase certain SEO tasks, and really it's just manual online labor, things like building directory profiles, getting backlinks for our client's website, that sort of stuff.
And we have a white label SEO vendor that we just pay a fee to them for whatever the specific task is. Now you can do a full on management. You pay them whatever month it is, and then you just collect the difference and you pocket that to your agency. However, I really like the full control over certain aspects of what's being done because we know the industry, we know the niche, and a lot of times people that just do SEO work, like the people that may work for any of these vendors, which are, by the way, linked down below if you want to check them out, they're not as well versed in the niche. And so I want to make sure our anchor text for our links and certain things like that are very, very dialed in and going to work very, very well for our client, because there's a difference between lawn care and landscaping, for example. So I used to do this multiple times per month because I had a business credit card that didn't have a big limit. And so that really hindered me. I was managing the card limit and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So what I did was I got a card that has no preset limit. And so that's going to be the American Express Business Platinum card. And so I like it because there's no preset limit. I can make this big purchase all at one time and a whole bunch of other cool things that come along with the card. But the biggest thing for me was I just wanted to be able to do this one time per month, not have to worry about it, and then just pay the bill when it is due. And it just makes it so much easier. I'd highly recommend checking that out. I'll link down below to this card if you want to check it out as well. But this just saves me a ton of time because I can just do this whole order where I just go through a spreadsheet of each client and I have what the tasks that need to be done for this particular month in terms of their SEO journey. And it just makes it so much simpler. You can also buy in bulk too when it comes to certain links and things like that, which gives you a little bit of a discount as well when it comes to the SEO vendor with who we're purchasing from. So if you're going the route of a hybrid white label model, that's one of the things that you're going to have to do on a monthly basis. Another thing that you're going to have to do is essentially take delivery of links and outsource SEO services as they come in. But so when these trickle in, essentially what we'll do is we'll go and we'll download the file that's sent. We'll open it up. We have a folder for each client, everything's stored there. With certain CRMs, you can also set it up so you can upload each of those information there into their folder, and everything's nicely organized. And so that's going to be the next thing that you're going to have to do. Those will trickle in. I mean, there'll be, depending on when you place the order, you might get 10 or 15 of these things that all come in at one time. Again, though, the delivery process is usually very, very, very quick. What I like to do for backlinks is I check to make sure the anchor text is accurate, the URL on the website has some relevance and so forth. And then also for the GMB side of things, make sure the directories, all that stuff is usually with the company we use, which is Web20, as well as some other vendors on Legit. They do a really good job, so you don't really have to worry a whole lot, but sometimes there are things that get missed and you just got to double check everything. But usually for each service, it's usually between 2 to 5 minutes to kind of just take delivery of that order and make sure everything was done properly. So another task that you're going to have to do on a monthly basis is checking your clients' rankings. And so I know there's a lot of people that have different opinions on this, but when we sell the proper way, what I've found is that rankings matter less and less when we sell the proper way. When we sell as a magic money delivery system or magic lead delivery system, whether you're ranking 5th or 3rd does not matter. As long as the client is, specifically the client avatar that my agency has, as long as they're getting a really good ROI, they don't care about rankings at all. They have hardly any time to even look at the rankings. They barely even open our reports. And so the coolest thing about it is they're getting amazing, amazing, amazing results, and we don't even have to worry that much. Obviously, yes, we're going to be focused. We're going to stay consistent. We're going to make sure we're obtaining good rankings, or we're strive to get the absolute best that we possibly can. But we don't need to worry obsessively. I know there are some people that check rankings every single day, and that's just not needed. Especially when the search engine kind of changes and fluctuates from a day-to-day basis. We want to be looking at it really as a monthly type of thing that, hey, are we making progress and so forth? And once we get that progress, are we maintaining where we're at for our clients? So that way they can continue getting more and more work and turn $18,000 to $24,000 a year into an additional $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in sales, and they're profiting 50 or 100 grand out of that just for them personally as the owner of the company. So when it comes to rankings, this is maybe 10 to 15, maybe 30 minutes of work, depending on the client. But for checking rankings, we use a couple different tools, beginning with agency analytics. And so this is what allows us to plug in. We put in all our keywords. So we have rank tracking, then we have Google My Business, Search Console Analytics, what converts, which we'll get into here in a minute. That's all connected in. And then we can create our reports as well, and also Bright Local tracking for citations. And so we'll just go and we'll check rankings here twice per month, usually when I'm doing the link order, and then when the links are delivered, I'll just check and see, hey, are we moving in the right direction? What's going on? What kind of shifts are we seeing? And then when it comes to the Google My Business listing, we use Bright Local. And I know there are other tools out there for rank tracking with Google Business Profiles, But I like having Bright Local because it connects right in with the reports to the citations, and we can make an external URL that the client can then click on from the report, and they can actually see the same interactive map that we have right here, but they don't need to log in or have a profile or anything like that. It's very easy for them to check out, and so they can see where they're at. They can also see the progression of where they were before we started even working with them. And when we do everything right in the front end, this takes minimal time each month. Very, very, very minimal. Especially when we have things systemized and we're working within the same industry, we have the ideal client avatar that we want, where the results are predictable and consistent for each and every single one of our clients. So the next task that you're gonna have to do is ordering up blog text from a content writer. Now you can write these blogs yourself if you want. That's gonna be way too much time in my opinion. There are better things that you should spend your time doing, especially as you start to scale, you get to 10, 15 grand a month. Your time should not be spent writing content at all. You should hire someone for that. And so this, for all the clients, is usually about a 3 to 4 hour process to go and figure out, okay, what's the blog topic going to be? And then also being able to send to our vendor the examples and templates in terms of like the style of how we want it written, and sending them to them, placing the order, getting that all going. And that's, usually about a 3 to 4 hour process. And then once we take delivery, there might be some edits that need to be done that we just do in-house to make sure everything's just, because I'm very, very particular with the content that goes on our clients' sites. And so there's a little bit of time that goes into that as well. And so that's usually probably about 15 minutes or so to add that to the client site. Again, we build out everything beforehand in terms of the post in the structure within Elementor. And so we copy and paste the text right into the post within the back end of WordPress, press publish, good to go. So the next step that you're gonna have to do, and this is usually something that I've done in the past every single day. Now I only really just check it once every other day. And if you really wanted to be lazy with it, you could do it once a week. But if you have a good amount of clients and it's a busy time of year, you don't want to stay up on this. And so that's going to be checking the lead quotability. And these are calls and forms that come in and marking in the client's account which ones are quotable and are not. And so what we use is What Converts. And so the software is our call tracking, and we can also track our forms, which we use Gravity forms on our clients' websites, and we can plug it all in. It's all interconnected. And so what happens is that we have a dashboard here that we can create a user for our client to check out as well. They can log into this and see for their account. But as you can see, if we go to this client here, for example, we have, looks like 6 leads that have not yet been set. And so we just go through each one of these calls or forms and we determine which one's going to be quotable. So this particular lead right here, we'll just view it. This one came through the homepage where they landed, Google Organic. So perfect, they landed at the irrigation system install page. And so 2 minutes and 30 seconds. One thing you want to do during your onboarding is ask your clients, hey, how long are your calls to determine the quotability? How long you be on the phone to determine this is a good lead? So usually that's 1 to 2 minutes or whatever it is. And so then we can mark yes. And so this is usually a very quick process. We're talking less than 5 minutes every other day for most clients, depending on the type of call volume that they experience at their business. Another thing that you're going to have to expect to do from time to time, and this is going to be more common during the slower season, is going to be a check-in call. And so for us, that is on Zoom. So we have a page on the website that basically says, hey, book your check-in call down below. So essentially, when the billing comes through for the month, we'll say, hey, we received your payment. If you'd like to chat with us, if you have any questions, go over your report, head over here to book a check-in call on our calendar, and this will set up a Zoom meeting, just like it does for the sales calls, but this is for a check-in call. It's a separate event that we've set up within Calendly. So that way we can just talk on Zoom if they want to. And like I wrote in here, this is very rare. Many clients, there are some clients we haven't talked to in 6, 12, maybe even more than that months, because they're busy. They don't even really want to talk to us. They don't care. They just see work coming in. They're just happy to keep it all going, which is really cool. And it's just even less work there. So certain clients will want to check in maybe even once a month, but that's something that does just take a little bit of time each month. Usually it's about 15 to 30 minutes when they do, in fact, book the call. Sometimes a little longer, sometimes less, but it just depends on the client. Depends on the client's personality type. Some are very, very type A. Some are very just, I don't even care. As long as we get leads, what do we need to talk about? So that's the cool thing about how we sell as well. It all kind of stems back to that original framing of how we do things. That's going to determine how much the client even wants to communicate with you. If you have a magical money delivery system that's delivering what it needs to do, they hardly even want to talk. They have enough to focus on with managing their company. So another thing that you may encounter on a monthly basis or from time to time is just having a quick phone call with your client or email conversation that may come in. They have just a brief question. They don't want to do a full check-in call. They just want to have a couple questions answered, something maybe, hey, can you tweak this on the website, or just something like that, something very basic. And so for this, I'm going to put this as about 5 minutes per month that you could probably estimate that you would have to do. In the early months, depending on the client, depending on their personality, that sort of stuff, this may be more, maybe less, but be aware of it going into it. They're obviously paying a good sum of money. They want to be able to talk to who they are paying for this particular service and make it easy for you to communicate. If they're sending you an email in the morning, try to get to them before the end of the workday and reply back to whatever that question is that they may have, or maybe it's something a little bit more advanced. Say, at least reply and then say, hey, we'll get an answer for you the next day, depending on what it is. And again, but just be aware of it going into it. Hey, you might have a little bit of email conversation or phone calls to just answer some basic questions from time to time. And of course, my camera died as I was filming that last clip. So kind of going through the end of this video, just like I started from my phone. So the total amount of hours that you can expect to put in for each client, and this is if you're someone I would say advanced with local SEO, you understand what's going on, you know everything, you've put in some time to understand the whole process, probably between 3 to 5 hours per month on the high end. I mean, there's some clients that's even less because we're just leveraging other people's labor, the manual labor side of things when it comes to the backlink sourcing, building citations, directories, that sort of stuff, which is a lot of time otherwise. And so we're probably saving 10 hours a month just by leveraging that aspect of it. And so again, we're not about selling our time for labor. And yes, we're generating a lot of money per man hour invested into the client's account each month, but we're delivering an amazing service. We're getting them access to the arguably the best source of customers, I think, on the planet when it comes to a local business, specifically home service contractors, because of the fact that people are going to the Google search and they're typing exactly what they want. It doesn't get much better than that other than referrals from their existing clients in terms of getting really good leads coming in. And so one thing I highly suggest doing is if you've gotten to a point within your agency where you have testimonials, you have the results, don't apologize for charging high prices and making a good margin off of your work, because this is a very valuable skill set and you should be compensated very, very well for the work that you're doing. If you're someone that's just getting started with your marketing agency journey, just getting it off the ground, what I encourage you to do is check out the channel, browse around, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you know when all the newest content comes live. And if you're someone that's looking to grow, build, and scale your agency, there'll be some links down below here in the coming weeks, pinned comment as well as in the description, that you'll want to check out, where we have some additional resources and training available for you to be able to grow your marketing agency and become sought after, not have to peck and claw just to be able to get an ounce of attention from a prospective client. They're coming to your agency instead of you having to go to them. And so that will be all linked down below in the description. As I'm filming this video and when this is going to be uploaded, it's not out yet, but it will be very, very soon here in the coming weeks. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to be subscribed, hit the bell for notifications so you know when all the content comes live. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well, so that way you can also get the notifications for when those resources will be available. So if you like this content, you like this kind of style of video where we're kind of just getting into the nitty gritty of really managing an agency, go down below, drop a like, comment your thoughts as well that you have, and we'll see you guys in the next video.